think Cruise would kind of be aware of that parallel.
Oh, 100%.
Because he really sells that line, and I felt it, not just from Maverick, but from Cruise himself. I loved it. I love that.
Yeah, he literally, when he goes, I don't know how.
Yeah, it's like, this is just, I wake up and I have this drive. It never goes away, and there's nothing that has been able to fulfill it. So I just keep going. And it's like, it might kill you one day, man.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's cool to watch him acknowledge that, because in the Mission Impossible films, I feel like he's not acknowledging that. Maybe in this last two-parter he's doing, he might, but in Fallout, he's still acting like he's like 26 years old.
Yeah, 100% the whole way through. If not, it felt like that movie almost felt like he was trying to prove that he still has it because of all the insane shit he does, even compared to some of the practical stunts he does in the previous movies. Like Fallout's insane. So he just keeps applying that. And I think you're right. I could see the Mission Impossibles coming up, at least acknowledge it a little bit, because even his, although he looks great, he is starting to look older too.
I think he said that he did this big last two-parter Mission Impossible, and like I think he's saying that's the end. Like it is the last two.
Yeah. The two-parter made me feel like that would be the case. So. Cool. I can't wait.
So I have a feeling. Well, because that's just it. Is like Tom is absolutely an insane egomaniac.
Oh yeah.
And the thing that's so interesting about this is that the stuff that he does in these movies could only exist because he's an insane egomaniac, and because he's such a massive movie star who could, produce his own films and, tell people that like, look, it's money that, I've put on the line. So I'm going to do the dangerous things that normally they would be like, no, get a stuntman to do it. Stop that. Stop it right now.
Yeah.
So I do like this current sort of trend that he's in where, like this stuff could not exist without him being the person he is off screen.
Yep.
So the movies as a result become like this kind of, in a way, well-deserved egotistical victory lap that he's taking on, like, he's the biggest and only and best movie star. And you finally watch the films and you go, he's got a point.
Yeah.
He's got a point is the thing. And like, that's just kind of like a crazy experience to have. And also cool that, again, in this one specifically, he is starting to acknowledge that at some point this thing has to come to an end, which is why I think it is one of the stronger legacy sequels, because there's stuff in here that would probably annoy me in another movie.
Yep.
Like how much it does the callbacks to the original,
it's the same
like how
formula, essentially like the same story.
The same formula. Like some of it's done lovingly and well. Like I did like that they basically shot for shot recreated Tony Scott's Danger Zone sequence with them, everyone and everything taking off. Of course, they had to put in the muscular beach sports sequence, which in this is a football game.
Yeah, just glistening. It's just orange. I really liked that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so like it's the kind of stuff that, you're like, okay, I get it. It's like the original film. But at the same time, there's a quality to this where Cruise is, I think, doing something interesting with the fact that, I wrote it briefly in my review, but like acknowledging that when it comes to his image and when it comes to coming back specifically to Top Gun, in 1986, when this movie really solidified him alongside Risky Business as a star, everyone was like, look at this exciting, fresh-faced, boyish kid. He's going to be the next thing.
Yep.
And now he looks at that and he's like, it totally has a different feeling. Like you look at him breaking down in front of Val Kilmer saying, I don't know what a life outside of this is like. And
it feels like it means more, right? It just means more to him now. I think looking back, he was probably in this, he's in the spotlight. He's the man. I bet it was more ego and individually driven, and that's still there. But I do think that he's now thinking back and going like the relationships he's made, what isn't here anymore, like Tony. Like I feel like he's really analyzing that rather than just
Tony was location scouting Top Gun 2 shortly before he committed suicide, right? Like this was something him and Tony were going to make together.
Yes.
And so that's why I think it's earned its nostalgic quality. Absolutely. Because it doesn't feel like shallow, don't you remember this thing, point and be like, oh hey, I love that. It feels like
an old man lovingly looking back on it, but also still engaging with it again.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too, is also taking this victory lap and being like, you know, like, I'm here, I'm showing all the young ones how it's done, really in the cockpit. I can still, you know,
with teamwork accented, because that was the big thing of the first one. This time he's teaching them how to be a team, or it won't work, instead of these individual
Yeah,
bests.
I mean, I love the bit where because John Hamm is kind of playing the hard ass in this one, and there's a part where through all of the various teaching scenarios, he's basically like failing them all because of how difficult this mission is. And he goes, all you've successfully done is shown them that this mission is impossible. Right. And what he does is, for the second time in the film, or is it the third time in the film, he steals a jet. He steals so many jets in this film. He steals a jet and he runs the mission for them to show them that someone can do it. And it is just one hell of a thrilling sequence. And it is one of those things where there's a little bit of an ego quality where it's like, yeah, Tom Cruise gets to be the guy who says, hey, the boss man is wrong. It is doable. And I'll show you because I'm the best at it.
And I'm going to do it in 15 seconds less than necessary.
Yes.
Because I think he does it in 2:15, where they were telling him 2:30 is what the target is. But he's like, nah, I'm going to do this.
And they were changing it to 3 to make it easier on the kids. Right. But then they were like, well, you know, it's going to be more dangerous because it's going to be more time for the enemy to get into dogfights with you. And so you get that stuff, but then you also get this acknowledgement that, like, you know, as he says it, and as he says it, like, literally.